Light on the water like a moving postcard. Palm shadows dancing on the street. I left my worries somewhere back in Paris, and they didn't follow me. Nice glowing in the distance, color shifting every time I blink. Umbrellas opening like quiet stories that don't need time to think. Scooters passing with the gentle rhythm, voices floating through the air. Citrus on ice catching little flashes of sunlight everywhere. Nothing heavy in my pockets, nothing pulling at my sleeve. Every step feels like a new direction. I don't have to believe. Postcards in the sun, I let them drift away. Moments turning gold in the middle of the day. Paris feels like something from another life, and I'm right here, feeling light. Every little second doesn't need a name. I don't try to hold it, let it stay the same. If it fades, I smile and let it run like postcards in the sun. White linen brushing in the open window, soft against the afternoon. Yachts are floating like they lost their reason, but they don't leave too soon. We talk about nothing in particular, laughing halfway through a line. Time is moving but it's barely noticeable, like it forgot the time. Shadows sliding down the painted buildings, warm stone holding on to heat. Barefoot steps along the quiet shoreline, matching every beat. No need rushing to tomorrow, no need looking back again. Every moment feels like it's enough, just the way it's been. Postcards in the sun, scattered in the light. Colors getting softer as they fade tonight. Paris somewhere far beyond the view, and I don't feel pulled to. Every little second drifting into place. Nothing I would ever wanna chase. If it goes, I let it run like postcards in the sun. Back in Paris I was always moving, trying hard to keep the pace. Here I let the hours move around me, like they're giving me the space. I don't write it down to keep it, I just let it come and go. If I carry anything beyond this, it's the way the colors flow. Postcards in the sun, glowing as they fall. Every single moment doesn't need it all. Paris just a memory in the air, and I'm already there. Every breath is easy, every thought is free. Nothing else I really need to be. If it fades, I let it run like postcards in the sun. Light goes soft along the waterline, voices turning low and slow. I don't close the day, I let it linger, like a place I'll always know.
Light spills easy across the open rail. Page half written, carried by the day. Paris feels like something far away, and I don't feel the need to explain. Nice stretches into color, soft blue shifting into something clear. I leave my shoes beside the stones and let the moment settle here. Laughter drifting through the promenade, scooters weaving in and out of sound. A glass of citrus catching light, while time slows down without a word. Nothing pulling, nothing pressing, just the rhythm of the tide. Every second feels like resting in a place I don't define. No clock, just light across the afternoon. Shadows moving slow along the view. Paris somewhere fading into air, and I don't need to find it. passing wind and falling back without a trace. Yachts suspended in the distance line, like they've forgotten time and place. We talk about nothing in particular and let the silence do the rest. A quiet kind of understanding in the space we don't address. Sunlight shifting on the waterline, turning silver into green. I follow where the color moves and stay exactly where I am. No need turning this to meaning, no need holding it too tight. If it changes, I keep breathing, let it drift into the light. No clock, just color on the edge of blue, moments passing softly into view. Paris somewhere out beyond the day, and I'm already far away. Every second landing warm and slow. Ooh, ooh, nothing left I need to know. Ooh, ooh, if it feeds before it's understood, I still know it felt like good. Back in Paris, everything was moving, every hour asking something more. Here the hours open without question, and I don't answer like before. I don't need to write it down to keep it, don't need proof of where I've been. If I leave without a single line, it still stays somewhere within. No clock, just motion in a gentle frame. Nothing here is trying to stay the same. Paris waiting somewhere out of sight, but I'm not thinking of it tonight. Every breath a little more like this, uncomplicated, quiet bliss. If it disappears before I try, it was never meant to be mine. Lights softened over open water, voices turning into distant sound. I closed the page without a reason and let the day fade out around.
A shimmer settles over open blue. Paris dissolves into a distant hue. The air feels lighter than it used to be, like time is loosened quietly. Nice beach unfolds in drifting light, colors leaning into something bright. Warm stone holds the echo of the day, but lets it slowly slip away. Voices scatter into open space, fragments moving without a place. A glass reflects the shifting sky and lets the softer colors lie. Nothing pressing into form, nothing fixed or fully drawn. Every second breathes and flows, then fades before it's fully known. She drifts where the light becomes a line, where every shade dissolves in time. Paris resting far from view, like something once she knew. Every breath a softer pace, every thought without a trace. She doesn't reach for what moves through, she lets it pass, she lets it move. Balcony shadows stretch and fall, tracing patterns on the wall. Yacht suspended past the edge, hovering without a place. She speaks in fragments left undone, lets them fade into the sun. A quiet smile begins to rise, then disappears without surprise. The water shifts from green to gold, the surface never meant to hold. She follows only with her eyes and lets it change without disguise. No need turning this to sense, no need shaping consequence. every moment shaped by name. Here the time dissolves its line, open, endless, undefined. She doesn't write it down to keep, doesn't gather what runs deep. If it leaves before it's known, it still settles as her own. She stays where the light keeps turning slow, where nothing needs to fully show. Paris distant out of frame, without a need to call its name. Every second breathes and flows, every moment simply goes. She doesn't need to hold the view, it was enough to pass it through. Evening settles into soft and blue, shapes dissolve into a distant hue. She leaves the moment open wide and lets it fade without a sigh. Endless city in a line of silver rails, Paris fading into sketches of gray. Notebook closed before I filled the page, like I knew something better would replace it. By the time the coast came into view, the light had already changed its tone. Ni스해변 stretched without asking anything, just space enough to feel unknown. I walked past voices I didn't need to follow, left my plans somewhere behind the train. Dropped my bag beside the warm stone edge, and let the hours move without a name. There's a rhythm here that doesn't hurry, doesn't pull or try to lead. I stopped measuring every second, now it's giving back to me. Côte d'Azur in motion, nothing standing still. Color shifting with the way the light can bend. Paris somewhere far beyond the hill, and I don't need to know how this will end. Every moment opens like a window, no direction, just a wider view. I was always trying to hold the answer, now I'm letting everything come through. Scooters pass along the open curve, a flash of sound that disappears again. White linen caught against a passing chair, like it never meant to stay for long. Yachts hovered just beyond the distance line, barely moving, still they change their place. You turn your head and say it feels different here, and I see it written on your face. We talk about the life we left in Paris, then forget the point halfway through. Somewhere in the middle of a sentence, I realize I'm not chasing anything new. I don't need to frame it as a story, don't need reasons I can prove. If it disappears the moment I hold it, then I'll let it stay in motion too. Côte d'Azur in motion, slipping into gone to gold, edges softening where the day unfolds. Every version of me I used to hold feels lighter now, like I've let it go. Nothing pressing for a perfect ending, no need to turn it into something true. If this moment never asks for meaning, maybe that's the only thing I need to choose. Back in Paris I was tracing outlines, trying hard to keep things in place. Here the colors move without permission, and I'm learning how to let them change. I don't write it down, I let it pass me, like the tide that never stays the same. If I carry anything beyond this, it'll be the way it doesn't need a name. Côte d'Azur in motion, almost out of sight, still it lingers in the way I breathe. Paris waiting somewhere in the keep. Evening settles without asking questions, light dissolving into softer lines. I pick up my bag without direction and leave the rest of it behind.
I stepped off the train with a lighter mind. Paris fading into a softer line. A street unfolded toward the sea, like it had been waiting just for me. Saltwater Avenue, warm and bright, palms leaning slightly into light. Nice beach opening wide and clear, like a place I didn't know I'd need this year. Scooters weaving through the afternoon, voices drifting in a lazy tune. Citrus on ice catching bits of sun. Everything slow, everything undone. I had plans, but I let them go. Watch them fade with the undertow. Now every step feels easy new, like the day is choosing what I do. On Saltwater Avenue, I let it all unfold. Every second shining soft and gold. Paris feels a world away tonight, and I'm standing here feeling light. Nothing I need to figure out, no reason left to turn around. If it changes, I let it move. Saltwater Avenue, I'm passing through. Yeah, white linen drifting from an open room. Shadows sliding in a quiet bloom. Yachts just floating past the line of sight, barely moving, still they catch the light. We talk in pieces, then we let them fall. Laugh at things that don't mean much at all. Time is there, but it doesn't stay, just brushes past and drifts away. Barefoot steps on the heated stone. Every sound feels like it's home. Even silence has a kind of sound when you stop trying to hold it down. I don't need to make it last, I don't need to hold it fast. If it slips, I let it be. That's enough for me. On Saltwater Avenue, everything is wide. Every moment opening inside. Paris somewhere out beyond the blue, and I'm right here seeing something new. Nothing left I need to prove, just the rhythm I can move into. If it fades, I let it go. Saltwater Avenue, moving slow. Back in Paris, I was chasing time, running through another line. Here the hours don't ask for more, they just open like an open door. I don't write it down to keep, I don't measure what I feel or see. If I leave without a trace, it still stays in this place. On Saltwater Avenue, day into night, everything turning soft and bright. Paris just a distant view, and I'm not going back too soon. Every breath feels like a start, every step a work of art. If it ends, I'll still know. Saltwater Avenue, let me go. Evening settles on the sea, colors fade so easily. I don't chase what slips away, I just stay inside the day.
She left the city wrapped in quiet gray, Paris folding gently out of view. A window carries softer shades of day, like something waiting just beyond the blue. Nice beach open wide and slow, stones holding wharf beneath her feet. She let the afternoon begin to flow without a reason she could keep. Voices drifted through the promenade, distant laughter blending with the air. A glass of citrus caught the she lets it set her free. Like fabric drifting near the open window, shadows tracing balcony lines, yachts suspended somewhere far from care, as if they've loosened from time. She speaks in half-finished thoughts again, lets them drift before they land. A quiet laugh escapes without a plan. She doesn't try to understand. The color changes on the waterline, silver softening into green. She follows only with her eyes and stays within the scene. No need turning this to meaning, no need holding anything. If it fades, she lets it fade out like a quiet song you sing. She stays where the light falls softer, where the hours open wide, pairs somewhere far behind her, with nothing left to hide. Every breath a little lighter, every thought a softer tone. She doesn't chase what's disappearing, she lets it move along. Back in Paris, everything was moving, every hour asking more. Here the time is barely moving, like it's something to ignore. She doesn't write it down to keep it, doesn't frame it into lines. If it leaves without a trace, it still stays in her mind. She stays where the light keeps changing, where the colors gently blend. Paris waiting in the distance, but she's not thinking of it then. Every second feels like resting, like it's always been enough. She doesn't need to keep what's fading, she lets it turn to love. Evening settles on the shoreline, voices fading into sound. She leaves the page without a sentence and lets the day slow down.
July ink in the margin of my notebook page, train lines fading out of Paris gray. I wrote your name beside the window light, watched the skyline loosen into white. I kept a map folded in my back pocket, edges worn from places I hadn't been. Then the coastline opened like a sentence I didn't know how to finish back then. Niceheaven stretched out like a quiet promise, blue meeting something I couldn't name. I left my shoes beside the low stone wall, let the afternoon rewrite the day. Every hour slips a little softer here, nothing pulling me back into time. I don't need to ask where this is going, for once I'm not trying to define. Citrus on the coast, dripping into light, pages turning slower than they should. Paris feels a world away tonight, and I think that distance did me good. I was always running through a rhythm that never gave me space to choose. Now the tide keeps time without a reason, and I finally have nothing left to prove. Scooters pass in a blur along the promenade, laughter folding into passing air. I wrote a line about the way you looked at me, then crossed it out and left it there. White linen caught against the edge of a chair, shadows moving slowly on the wall. Yachts suspended just beyond intention, like they're waiting for a different call. I remember cafes back in Paris, conversations layered thick with noise. Now the silence feels like something honest, like it's asking me to make a choice. But I'm letting every answer drift away. There's a kind of clarity into something I regret. Citrus on the coast, melting into gold, thoughts dissolving in the afternoon. I can feel the version of me I used to hold, losing shape beneath the brighter view. Every second lands a little lighter, every word arrives without demand. If I never find the perfect ending, maybe that was never part of the plan. Back in Paris I was tracing outlines, trying to contain what couldn't stay. Hear the colors shift without permission, and I let them change me anyway. I don't write it down, I let it happen, let it fade the way these hours do. If I carry anything beyond this, it will be the way the sky turned blue. Citrus on the coast, almost gone from sight, only leaving traces on the glass. Paris somewhere far beyond the night, and I'm not in any rush to go back. There's a rhythm moving through the distance, soft enough to finally hear. If I close the notebook I won't lose this. It was never meant to stay in here. Ink runs lighter at the edge of evening, pages settling into something still. I fold the map without a destination and leave it there against the windowsill.
You leave the city where the streets don't rest, Paris fading off your shoulders like a breath. A train window carrying a softer sky. You don't ask where, you just let it arrive. Nice beach opens wide in front of you, blue stretching into every shade of new. You drop your shoes where the stones hold heat and let the moment settle at your feet. Voices drift along the promenade, scooters pass like lines that never stay. You hold a glass with citrus catching light and watch the hours loosen into white. You don't reach for what comes next, you don't measure what you get. Everything just comes and goes and you're finally letting it. You stay where the light falls easy, where the air feels clean and new. Paris is a distant memory and nothing's pulling you through. Every second feels unspoken, like it's yours without a plan. You don't try to keep it open, you just take it as it lands. White linen moves along a quiet line, shadows lean across the edge of time. Yachts float still beyond the turning blue, like they forgot what they were meant to do. You speak in half-finished thoughts again, let them fade before they reach an end. A laugh escapes you without a reason why, and you don't stop it, you just let it ride. Sunlight shifts across the waterline, silver turning into something fine. You follow it without a need to move and stay exactly where you choose. You don't need to name this now, you don't need to figure out. If it changes, let it be, that's enough somehow. You stay where the light falls slower, where the day feels wide and clear. Paris feels a little further every time you're here. Every breath a little lighter, every thought a softer view. You don't chase what's disappearing, you just let it pass through you. Back in Paris, everything kept moving, every hour asking something more. Here the time is barely even moving, like it's something you can't ignore. You don't write it down to hold it, you don't frame it to define. If it leaves without a trace, it still stays inside your mind. You stay where Pale horizon settles into view. Paris loosens into something blue. The air feels lighter than before, like it's not asking anything more. Nice beach opens under shifting light, colors moving slowly into sight. Warm stone holds the shape of afternoon and lets it fade away too soon. Voices scatter gently through the air, fragments landing here and there. A glass reflects a passing gleam and holds it like a waking dream. Nothing presses on her mind, nothing asks her to define. Every second comes and goes, like a line that never shows. She moves where the light becomes a frame, where every moment stays untamed. Paris drifting out of view, like something she once knew. Every breath a softer pace, every thought without a place. She doesn't reach for what is through, she lets it pass, she lets it move. Balcony lines stretch across the wall, patterns forming as they fall. Yachts suspended past the edge, hovering without a pledge. She speaks in thoughts that never stay, lets them drift and fade away. A smile arrives without a cause, then disappears without a pause. The water shifts from green to gold, a surface never fully told. She follows only with her sight and lets it change inside the light. No need turning this to sense, no need building consequence. If it fades before it stays, it belongs to passing days. She walks where the color bends the air, where nothing gathers anywhere. Paris somewhere far behind, without a place inside her mind. Every step without a plan, every thought just as it lands. She doesn't hold what slips away, she lets it leave, she lets it stay. Back in Paris, hours held their shape, every moment set to escape. Here the time dissolves its line, open, endless, undefined. She doesn't write it down to keep, doesn't hold what runs too deep. If it leaves before it's known, it still settles as her own. She stays where the light keeps turning slow, where nothing needs to fully show. Paris distant, out of frame, without a need to call its name. Every second breathes and flows, every moment simply goes. She doesn't need to hold the view, it was enough to pass it through. Evening leans into softer blue, shapes dissolve into a distant hue. She leaves the moment open wide and lets it fade without a side. A glass leaf circles on the table edge, white linen breathing in a quiet drift. The afternoon leans gently on the rail, nothing asking more than this. Ni스해변 holds the light in layers, blue turning softer toward the shore. I trace the outline of the passing tide, then forget what I was tracing for. Scooters blur along the promenade, their echoes folding it fades. Sunlight moves across the water, silver leaning into green. I follow only with my eyes and stay exactly where I've been. No need turning this to meaning, no need holding it too tight. If it changes, let it change me like the color in the light. Afterglow without a border, nothing asking to be kept. Paris somewhere far behind us, and I haven't looked back yet. Every breath a little easier, every thought a little less. Like the day is slowly teaching how to rest inside the rest. Back in Paris everything was louder, every hour had a claim. Here the hours open slowly without asking for a name. I don't write it down to save it, don't collect it as a sign. If it stays in passing. If it goes, it still feels mine. Afterglow along the shoreline, light dissolving into time. Nothing here is trying harder, everything already fine. Paris waiting in the distance, like a thought I set aside. I'm not reaching for tomorrow, I'm still standing in this light. White linen settles back in silence, the glass dries into something clear. Voices drift into the evening, and I let them disappear.
He leaves the city in a quiet frame, Paris dissolving without a trace. A train window holding a softer sky, like something open into space. Nice beach stretches into shifting blue, stones on warmth beneath his feet. He doesn't hurry into anything, he lets the moment come complete. Voices drift along the promenade, lights scattering across the air. A glass of citrus catching fragments of something simple, almost rare. Nothing pressing for attention, nothing asking him to stay. Every second feels like drifting into a wider kind of day. He walks where the light moves gently, where the hours loosen their hold. Paris fading into distance, like a story already told. Every step without intention, every thought without a frame. He doesn't try to keep the feeling, he just lets it stay the same. Balcony shadows slide across the wall, tracing shapes that don't remain. Yachts suspended past the horizon, moving slow without a claim. He speaks in lines that don't quite finish, lets them fall before they land. A quiet laugh escapes between them, nothing needing to be planned. The water shifts from blue to silver, then to something soft and green. He follows only with his eyes and stays inside the scene. No need turning this to meaning, no need holding it too tight. If it fades, he lets it fade out like the color in the light. He walks where the day feels open, where the air is clean and wide. Paris somewhere far behind him, with no reason left to hide. Every breath a little lighter, every moment set aside. He doesn't reach for what is leaving, he just lets it pass him by. Back in Paris everything was moving, every hour held away. Here the hours barely whisper, nothing asking him to wait. He doesn't write it down to save it, doesn't frame it into lines. If it leaves without a trace, it still settles in his mind. He stays where the light keeps shifting, where the colors never stay. Paris waiting in the distance, but it feels so far away. Every second feels like resting, like it's always been enough. He doesn't need to keep what's fading, he just lets it turn to love. Evening settles over open water, voices thinning into sound. He leaves the page without a sentence and lets the day drift down.
The train rolls out of Paris in a line of silver light, windows catching pieces of a softer sky. A notebook rests unopened on the seat beside, like nothing needs to be defined tonight. Nice beach unfolds in layers of blue, stones warming slowly under afternoon. He steps into the rhythm without a plan, and lets the hours open where he stands. Voices drift along the curved seaside road, a quiet pulse that rises then it goes. A glass reflects the sunlight in his hand, and time dissolves without demand. Nothing left to calculate, nothing left to rearrange. Every second comes in waves and leaves before it changes shape. He moves where the light turns golden and white, where the day doesn't ask him to decide. Paris fades like a line in the distance view, and everything feels simple, everything feels new. Every breath finds a softer place to land, every moment opens in his hands. He doesn't try to hold what is passing through, he lets it stay, then lets it move. Balcony shadows stretch across warm stone, pattern shifting but never alone. Yachts suspended far beyond the line, barely moving, still redefining time. He speaks in thoughts that don't need to conclude, lets them drift into a lighter mood. A quiet smile arrives without a cause, and stays a moment just because. The water shifts from silver into green, a living canvas in between. He watches every color gently blend, and lets the motion never end. No need turning it to proof, no need chasing after truth. If it fades before it stays, that's the beauty of the day. He moves where the light feels easy and clear, where the world grows lighter every minute here. Paris somewhere out beyond the air, and he's no longer reaching there. Every step falls into place with ease, every thought carried by the breeze. He doesn't chase what slips away in view, he lets it pass, he lets it through. Back in Paris, every hour held a weight, every moment pressing him to anticipate. Here the time unwinds without a sound, like it was never meant to be pinned down. He doesn't write it down to make it last, doesn't frame it in a future or a past. If it disappears before it's understood, it still leaves him feeling good. He stays where the light keeps changing its tone, where the day feels quietly his own. Paris waiting somewhere far behind, but it no longer fills his mind. Every second feels like open space, every moment finding its own place. He doesn't need to keep what fades from view, it was enough just passing through. Evening settles into softer lines of blue, voices dim into a distant hue. He closes nothing, leaves the moment wide, and lets the horizon decide.
He leaves the city in a softened light, Paris fading like a half-remembered sign. A window holds a quieter kind of blue, and nothing asked him what he's meant to do. Nice beach opens in a measured glow. Stones holding warmth he didn't know. He steps into the afternoon with ease and lets the moment settle as it needs. Voices drift along the coastal bend, arriving, leaving, never needing end. A glass reflects the sunlight in his hand, and time gives way without command. Nothing here to rearrange, nothing pushing him to change. Every second slips and stays, then quietly dissolves away. He moves where the light runs thin and wide, where the hours loosen and divide. Paris resting somewhere out of view, and everything feels open, everything feels new. Every breath finds space to land, every moment shifts its plan. He doesn't try to hold the hue, he lets it pass, he lets it move. Balcony shadow stretch across the stone, patterns forming, then undone. Yachts suspended just beyond the line, barely moving, still they alter time. He speaks in thought that never fully close, lets them fade the way the current goes. A quiet smile forms without a cause, then disappears without a pause. The water shifts from silver into green, a living space between the scene. He follows only with his eyes and stays within what never tries. No need turning it to proof, no need shaping it as truth. If it fades before it stays, that's enough within the day. He walks where the color bends the air, where the weight dissolves to something rare. Paris somewhere far behind his mind, and nothing pulls him out of time. Every step becomes its own, every thought is left alone. He doesn't reach for what is through, he lets it pass, he lets it move. Back in Paris, every hour pressed, every moment leaning on his chest. Here the hours open without sound, like they were never meant to be pinned down. He doesn't write it down to make it stay, doesn't trace it as it slips away. If it leaves before it's understood, it still settles into something good. He stays where the light keeps changing tone, where the day feels quietly his own. Paris waiting somewhere far behind, but it no longer fills his mind. Every second breathes and bends, every moment never ends. He doesn't need to hold the view, it was enough to pass it through. Evening settles into softer blue, voices fading into distant hue. He leaves the day without a frame and lets it go without a name. A quiet line of light across the sea, Paris fading into memory. The air holds something left undefined, like space unfolding in the mind. Nice beach rests in a softened hue, blue dissolving into something new. Warm stone carries traces phases of the day, but never asks for them to stay. Voices rise and fall without a name, a passing rhythm without claim. A glass reflects a shifting sky and lets the passing colors lie. Nothing here is asking more, nothing held, nothing stored. Every second opens wide, then fades without a sigh. He drifts where the light becomes the air, where nothing gathers anywhere. Paris echoes far and thin, like a thought that might have been. Every breath without a weight, every moment free of shape. He doesn't reach for what goes through, he lets it pass, he lets it move. Balcony shadows stretch and bend, patterns forming without an end. Yachts suspended far away, still as if they choose to stay. He speaks in lines that fall apart, unfinished edges of a thought. A quiet smile without a cause arrives and leaves without a pause. The water shifts from green to gold, a living surface never still. He follows only with his sight and lets it change without a will. No need turning this to sense, no need building consequence. If it fades before it stays, it belongs to passing days. He drifts where the color bends the view, where every shade feels almost true. Paris somewhere far behind, without a place within his mind. Every step without a plan, every thought without demand. He doesn't hold what slips away, he lets it leave, he lets it stay. Back in Paris, hours would remain pressed into a measured frame. Here the time dissolves its line, unwritten, open, undefined. He doesn't write it down to keep, doesn't gather what runs deep. If it leaves before it's known, it still settles as his own. He stays where the light keeps turning slow, where nothing needs to fully show. Paris distant, out of frame, without a need to call its name. Every second breeze and flows, every moment simply goes. He doesn't need to hold the view, it was enough to pass it through. Evening leans into a softer blue, voices thinning out of view. He leaves the moment open wide and lets it fade without a sigh.
White linen folded over the back of a chair, condensation mapping a slow ring on stone. A parasol tilts, correcting the angle of glare. Someone laughs just outside the frame. Blue shutters hesitate, neither close nor open. Strips of cobalt cutting quietly across the floor. Your fingers pause along the rim of the glass, then drift away before the shape can settle. Citrus on ice, the pier releasing slowly. Fragrance arriving ahead of intention. You mentioned the water looks different today. I watch it change before I answer. Scooters thread the curve beside the promenade. Sound folding inward, then thinning out. A waiter replaces something untouched, as if the table required revision. Yachts suspend themselves beyond detail. White signatures against a shifting field. You lean into a margin of shade, where light redraws the line of your shoulder. Terrace by the blue, held shadows arrange themselves slowly across faces already dissolving. Your sunglasses borrow a borrowed horizon, return it altered, almost green. We let sentences fall out of sequence, as if endings would interrupt the view. Salt traces, quiet maps along your skin, drying into something close to lace. I follow one line, then abandon it gently. Precision feels unnecessary here. A distant horn threads through the distance, pulling a seam across the horizon. Two glasses meet without emphasis, a gesture neither early nor late. Terrace by the blue, shifting in tone, edges softening into the unknown. No need to hold what moves through the frame. Terrace by the blue, without a claim. A door remains slightly undecided, curtains negotiating shape and air. Footsteps approach, then reconsider, leaving the corridor to itself. You say my name without insisting, it lingers somewhere between thought and sound. I let it rest where it almost becomes something that might have been held. The color offshore alters by degrees, blue giving way, then quietly returning. A chair moves just enough to notice, a small adjustment without reason. We trade the narrow line of shade without direction or agreement. Your hand pauses near my wrist, not touching, yet altering everything. Terrace by the blue, nearly gone. The shape of hours moving on. Not lost, just thinned into view. Terrace by the blue, reduced to hue. White linen settles back into its fold. The glass clears itself of intention. Scooters fade into a lower register, and direction becomes unnecessary. A glass leaves circles on the table edge, white linen breathing in a quiet drift. The afternoon leans gently on the rail, nothing asking more than this. Ni스해변 holds the light in layers, blue turning softer toward the shore. I trace the outline of the passing tide, then forget what I was tracing for. Scooters blur along the promenade, their echoes folding into air. Someone laughs just out of sight, it lingers longer than it should. There's no reason to move faster, no reason to explain. Everything arrives unguarded and leaves without a name. Afterglow and quiet motion, colors resting on the sea. Paris feels like distant language, not something pulling me. Every second feels unmeasured, like it opened just for now. I don't try to keep it with me, I don't need to know how. Yachts suspend beyond intention, white against a shifting blue. They seem still until you notice they're already somewhere new. Your hand brushes past my shoulder, not quite meaning to remain. We don't turn it into something let it fade. Sunlight moves across the water, silver leaning into green. I follow only with my eyes and stay exactly where I've been. No need turning this to meaning, no need holding it too tight. If it changes, let it change me, like the color in the light. Afterglow without a border, nothing asking to be kept. Paris somewhere far behind us, and I haven't looked back yet. Every breath a little easier, every thought a little less, like the day is slowly teaching how to rest inside the rest. Back in Paris, everything was louder. Every hour had a claim. Here the hours open slowly, without asking for a name. I don't write it down to save it, don't collect it as a sign. If it stays in passing. If it goes, it still feels mine. Afterglow along the shoreline, light dissolving into time. Nothing here is trying harder, everything already fine. Paris waiting in the distance, like a thought I set aside. I'm not reaching for tomorrow, I'm still standing in this light. White linen settles back in silence. The glass dries into something clear. Voices drift into the evening, and I let them disappear. A shimmer settles over open blue. Paris dissolves into a distant hue. The air feels lighter than it used to be, like time is loosened quietly. Nice beach unfolds and drifting light, colors leaning into something bright. Warm stone holds the echo of the day, but lets it slowly slip away. Voices scatter into open space, fragments moving without a place. A glass reflects the shifting sky and lets the softer colors lie. Nothing pressing into form, nothing fixed or fully drawn. Every second breathes and flows, then fades before it's fully known. She drifts where the light becomes a line, where every shade dissolves in time. Paris resting far from view, like something once she knew. Every breath a softer pace, every thought without a trace. She doesn't reach for what moves through, she lets it pass, she lets it move. Balcony shadows stretch and fall, tracing patterns on the wall. Yachts suspended past the edge, hovering without a pledge. She speaks in fragments left undone, lets them fade into the sun. A quiet smile begins to rise, then disappears without surprise. The water shifts from green to gold, a surface never meant to hold. She follows only with her eyes, and lets it change without disguise. No need turning this to sense, no need shaping consequence. If it fades before it stays, it belongs to passing days. She walks where the color bends the air, where nothing gathers anywhere. Paris somewhere far behind lets it leave, she lets it stay. Back in Paris, hours held their frame, every moment shaped by name. Here the time dissolves its line, open, endless, undefined. She doesn't write it down to keep, doesn't gather what runs deep. If it leaves before it's known, it still settles as her own. She stays where the light keeps turning slow, where nothing needs to fully show. Paris distant, out of frame, without a need to call its name. Every second breathes and flows, every moment simply goes. She doesn't need to hold the view, it was enough to pass it through. Evening settles into softened blue, shapes dissolve into a distant hue. She leaves the moment open wide, and lets it fade without a side.
He la da 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 da. He leaves the city in a quieter frame, Paris dissolving without a trace. A train window holding a softer sky, like something opened into space. Nice beach stretches into shifting blue, stones holding warmth beneath his feet. He doesn't hurry into anything, he lets the moment come complete. Voices drift along the promenade, light scattering across the air. A glass of citrus catching fragments of something simple, almost rare. Nothing pressing for attention, nothing asking him to stay. Every second feels like drifting into a wider kind of day. He walks where the light moves gently, where the hours loosen their hold. Paris fading into distance, like a story already told. Every step without intention, every thought without a frame. He doesn't try to keep the feeling, he just lets it stay the same. Balcony shadows slide across the wall, tracing shapes that don't remain. Yacht suspended past the horizon, moving slow without a claim. He speaks in lines that don't quite finish, lets them fall before they land. A quiet laugh escapes between them, nothing needing to be planned. The water shifts from blue to silver, then to something soft and green. He follows only with his eyes and stays inside the scene. No need turning this to meaning, no need holding it too tight. If it fades, he lets it fade out like the color in the light. He walks where the day feels open, where the air is clean and wide. Paris somewhere far behind him, with no reason left to hide. Every breath a little lighter, every moment set aside. He doesn't reach for what is leaving, he just lets it pass him by. Back in Paris everything was moving, every hour held away. Here the hours barely whisper, nothing asking him to wait. He doesn't write it down to save it, doesn't frame it into lines. If it leaves without a trace, it still settles in his mind. He stays where the light keeps shifting, where the colors never stay. Paris waiting in the distance, but it feels so far away. Every Every second feels like resting, like it's always been enough. He doesn't need to keep what's fading, he just lets it turn to love. Even settles over open water, voices thinning into sound. He leaves the page without a sentence and lets the day drift down.
Pale horizon settles into view. Paris loosens into something blue. The air feels lighter than before, like it's not asking anything more. Nice beach opens under shifting light, colors moving slowly into sight. Warm stone holds the shape of afternoon and lets it fade away too soon. Voices scatter gently through the air, fragments landing here and there. Glass reflects a passing gleam and holds it like a waking dream. Nothing presses on her mind, nothing asks her to define. Every second comes and goes like a line that never shows. She moves where the light becomes a frame, where every moment stays untamed. Paris drifting out of view like something she once knew. Every thought without a place. She doesn't reach for what is through, she lets it pass. She lets it move. Balcony lines stretch across the wall, patterns forming as they fall. Yachts suspended past the edge, hovering without a pledge. She speaks in thoughts that never stay, lets them drift and fade away. A smile arrives without a cause, then disappears without a pause. The water shifts from green to gold, a surface never fully told. She follows only with her sight, then lets it change inside the light. No need turning this to sense, no need building consequence. If it fades before it stays, it belongs to passing days. She walks where the color bends the air, where nothing gathers anywhere. Paris somewhere far behind, without a place inside her mind. Every step without a plan, every thought just as it lands. She doesn't hold what slips away, she lets it bleed. She lets it stay. Back in Paris, hours held their shape, every moment set to escape. Here the time dissolves its line, open, endless, undefined. She doesn't write it down to keep, doesn't hold what runs too deep. If it leaves before it's known, it still settles as her own. She stays where the light keeps turning slow, where nothing needs to fully show. Paris distant out of frame, without a need to call its name. Every second breathes and flows, every moment simply goes. She doesn't need to hold the view, it was enough to pass it through. Evening leans into softer blue, shapes dissolve into a distant hue. She leaves the moment open wide and lets it fade without a sigh.
July ink in the margin of my notebook page, train lines fading out of Paris gray. I wrote your name beside the window light, watch the skyline loosen into white. I kept a map folded in my back pocket, edges worn from places I hadn't been. and the coastline open like a sentence I didn't know how to finish back then. Ni스해변 stretched out like a quiet promise, blue meeting something I couldn't name. I left my shoes beside the low stone wall, let the afternoon rewrite the day. Every hour slips a little softer here, nothing pulling me back into time. I don't need to ask where this is going, for once I'm not trying to define. Citrus on the coast, dripping into light, pages turning slower than they should. Paris feels a world away tonight, and I think that distance did me good. I was always running through a rhythm that never gave me space to choose. Now the tide keeps time without a reason, and I finally have nothing left to prove. Scooters pass in a blur along the promenade, laughter folding into passing air. I wrote a line about the way you looked at me, then crossed it out and left it there. White linen caught against the edge of a chair, shadows moving slowly on the wall. Yachts suspended just beyond intention, like they're waiting for a different call. I remember cafes back in Paris, conversations layered thick with noise. Now the silence feels like something honest, like it's asking me to make a choice. But I'm letting every answer drift away. There's a kind of clarity in that. If I hold this moment any tighter, it might slip into something I regret. Citrus on the coast, melting to gold, thoughts dissolving in the afternoon. I can feel the version of me I used to hold, losing shape beneath the brighter view. Every second lands a little lighter, oh, oh. Every word arrives without demand. If I never find the perfect ending, oh, maybe that was never part of the plan. Back in Paris I was tracing outlines, trying to contain what couldn't stay. Here the colors shift without permission, and I let them change me anyway. I don't write it down, I let it happen, let it fade the way these hours do. If I carry anything beyond this, it will be the way the sky turned blue. Citrus on the coast, almost gone from sight, only leaving traces on the glass. Paris somewhere far beyond the night, and I'm not in any rush to go back. There's a rhythm moving through the distance, soft enough to finally hear. If I close the notebook I won't lose this. It was never meant to stay in here. Ink runs lighter at the edge of evening, pages settling into something still. I fold the map without a destination and leave it there against the windowsill.
I left the city in a line of silver rails, Paris fading into sketches of gray. Notebook closed before I filled the page, like I knew something better would replace it. By the time the coast came into view, the light had already changed its tone. Ni스해변 stretched without asking anything, just space enough to feel unknown. I walked past voices I didn't need to follow, left my plans somewhere behind the train, dropped my bag beside the warm stone edge, and let the hours move without a name. There's a rhythm here that doesn't hurry, doesn't pull or try to lead. I stopped measuring every second, now it's giving back to me. Côte in motion, nothing standing still. Scooters pass along the open curve, a flash of sound that disappears again. White linen caught against a passing chair, like it never meant to stay for long. Yachts hover just beyond the distance line, barely moving, still they change their place. You turn your head and say it feels different here, and I see it written on your face. We talk about the life we left in Paris, then forget the point halfway through. Somewhere in the middle of a sentence, I realize I'm not chasing anything new. I don't need to frame it as a story, don't need reasons I can prove. If it disappears the moment I hold it, then I'll let it stay in motion too. Côte d'Azur in motion, slipping into gold edges softening where the day unfolds. Every version of me I used to hold feels lighter now, like I've let it go. Nothing pressing for a perfect ending, no need to turn it into something true. If this moment never asked for meaning, maybe that's the only thing I need to choose. Back in Paris I was tracing outlines, trying hard to keep things in place. Here the colors move without permission, and I'm learning how to let them change. I don't write it down, I let it pass me, like the tide that never stays the same. If I carry anything beyond this, it'll be the way it doesn't need a name. Côte d'Azur in motion, almost out of sight, still it lingers in the way I breathe. Paris waiting somewhere in the night, but it doesn't have a hold on me. Every second feels a little wider, every thought arrives and then it leaves. If I close my eyes I won't lose this. It was never something I could keep. Evening settles without asking questions, light dissolving into softer lines. I pick up my bag without direction and leave the rest of it behind.
He leaves the city in a softened line, Paris fading like a half-remembered sign. A window holds a quieter kind of blue, and nothing asks him what he's meant to do. Nice beach opens in a measured glow, stones holding warmth he didn't know. He steps into the afternoon with ease and lets the moment settle as it needs. Voices drift along the coastal bend, arriving, leaving, never needing end. A glass reflects the sunlight in his hand, and time gives way without command. Nothing here to rearrange, nothing pushing him to change. Every second slips and stays, then quietly dissolves away. He moves where the light runs thin and wide, where the hours loosen and divide. Paris resting somewhere out of view, and everything feels open, everything feels new. Every breath finds space to land, every moment shifts its plan. He doesn't try to hold the hue, he lets it pass, he lets it move. Balcony shadows stretch across the stone, patterns forming then undone. Yachts suspended just beyond the line. he lets it move. Back in Paris, every hour pressed, every moment leaning on his chest. Hear the hours open without sound, like they were never meant to be pinned down. He doesn't write it down to make it stay, he doesn't trace it as it slips away. If it leaves before it's understood, it still settles into something good. He stays where the light keeps changing tone, where the day feels quietly his own. Paris waiting somewhere far behind, but it no longer fills his mind. Every second breathes and bends, every moment never ends. He doesn't need to hold the view, it was enough to pass it through. Evening settles into softer blue, voices fading into distant hue. He leaves the day without a frame and lets it go without a name. Light spills easy across the open rail, a page half written carried by the day. Paris feels like something far away, and I don't feel the need to explain. Ni스해변 stretches into color, soft blue shifting into something clear. I leave my shoes beside the stones and let the moment settle here. Laughter drifting through the promenade, scooters weaving in and out of sound. A glass of citrus catching light while time slows down. Without a word, and nothing pulling, nothing pressing, just the rhythm of the tide. Every second feels like resting in a place I don't define. No clock, just light across the afternoon, shadows moving slow along the view. Paris somewhere faded into air, and I don't need to find it there. Every breath a little more at ease, every thought carried by the breeze. If it slips away, I let it go. That's enough for me to know. White linen lifting in a passing wind, then falling back without a trace. Yachts suspended in the distance line, like they've forgotten time and place. We talk about nothing in particular and let the silence do the rest. A quiet kind of understanding in the space we don't address. Sunlight shifting on the waterline, turning silver into green. I follow where the color moves and stay exactly where I am. No need turning this to mean it, no need holding it too tight. If it changes, I keep breathing, let it drift into the light. No clock, just color on the edge of blue, moments passing softly into view. Paris somewhere out beyond the day, and I'm already far away. Every second landing complicated quiet bliss. If it disappears before I try, it was never meant to be mine. Light softens over open water, voices turning into distant sound. I close the page without a reason and let the day fade out around.
You leave the city where the streets don't rest, Paris fading off your shoulders like a breath. A train window carrying a softer sky. You don't ask where, you just let it arrive. Nice beach opens wide in front of you, blue stretching into every shade of new. You drop your shoes where the stones hold heat and let the moment settle at your feet. Voices drift along the promenade, scooters pass like lines that never stay. You hold a glass with citrus catching light and watch the hours loosen into light. You don't reach for what comes next, you don't measure what you get. Everything just comes and goes and you're finally letting it. You stay where the light falls easy, where the air feels clean and new. Paris is a distant memory and nothing's pulling you through. Every second feels unspoken, like it's yours without a plan. You don't try to keep it open, you just take it as it lands. White linen moves along a quiet line, shadows leaning across the edge of time. Yachts float still beyond the turning blue, like they forgot what they were meant to do. You speak in half-finished thoughts again, let them fade before they reach an end. A laugh escapes you without a reason why, and you don't stop it, you just let it ride. Sunlight shifts across the waterline, silver turning into something fine. You follow it without a need to move and stay exactly where you choose. You don't need to name this now, you don't need to figure out. If it changes, let it be, that's enough somehow. You stay where the light falls slower, where the day feels wide and clear. Paris feels a little further every time you're here. Every breath a little lighter, every thought a softer view. You don't chase what's disappearing, you just let it pass through you. Back in Paris, everything kept moving, every hour asking something more. Here the time is barely even moving, like it's something you can't ignore. You don't write it down to hold it, you don't frame it to define. If it leaves without a trace, it still stays inside your mind. You stay where the light keeps changing, where the colors never stay. Paris waiting somewhere distant, but you're not on your way. Every second feels like resting, like it's always been enough. You don't need to keep what's fading, you just let it turn to love. The evening settles soft around the view, voices fade into a quieter hue. You don't close the day or try to hold, you just leave it there in gold.
A quiet line of light across the sea, Paris fading into memory. The air space unfolding in the mind. Nice beach rest in a softened hue, blue dissolving into something new. Warm stone carries traces of the day, but never asks for them to stay. Voices rise and fall without a name, a passing rhythm without claim. A glass reflects a shifting sky and lets the passing colors lie. Nothing here is asking more, nothing held, nothing stored. Every second opens wide, then fades without a sigh. He drifts where the light becomes the air, where nothing gathers anywhere. Paris echoes far and thin, like a thought that might have been. Every breath without a weight, every moment free of shape. He doesn't reach for what goes through, he lets it pass, he lets it move. Balcony shadows stretch and bend, patterns forming without an end. Yachts suspended far away, still as if they choose to stay. He speaks in lines that fall apart, unfinished edges of a thought. A quiet smile without a cause arrives and leaves without a pause. The water shifts from green to gold, a living surface never still. He follows only with his side and lets it change without a will. No need turning this to sense, no need building consequence. If it fades before it stays, it belongs to passing days. He drifts where the color bends the view, where every shade feels almost true. Paris somewhere far behind, without a place within his mind. Every step without a plan, every thought without demand. He doesn't hold what slips away, he lets it leave, he lets it stay. Back in Paris, hours would remain pressed into a measured frame. Here the time dissolves its line, unwritten, open, undefined. He doesn't write it down to keep, doesn't gather what runs deep. If it leaves before it's known, it still settles as his own. He stays where the light keeps turning slow, where nothing needs to fully show. Paris distant, out of frame, without a need to call its name. Every second breathes and flows, every moment simply goes. He doesn't need to hold the view, it was enough to pass it through. Evening leans into a softer blue, voices thinning out of view. He leaves the moment open wide and lets it fade without a sigh.
Light on the water like a moving postcard, palm shadows dancing on the street. I left my worries somewhere back in Paris, and they didn't follow me. 니스해변 glowing in the distance, colors shifting every time I blink. Umbrellas opening like quiet stories that don't need time to think. Scooters passing with a gentle rhythm, voices floating through the air. Citrus on ice, catching little flashes of sunlight everywhere. Nothing heavy in my 'cause I was always moving, trying hard to keep the pace. Here I let the hours move around me like they're giving me the space. I don't write it down to keep it, I just let it come and go. If I carry anything beyond this, it's the way the colors flow. Postcards in the sun, glowing as they fall. Every single moment doesn't need it all. Paris just a memory in the air, and I'm already there. Every breath is easy, every thought is free. Ooh, nothing else I really need to be. Ooh, if it fades, I let it run like postcards in the sun. Light goes off along the waterline, voices turning low and slow. I don't close the day, I let it linger like a place I'll always know.
I stepped off the train with a lighter mind, Paris fading into a softer line. A street unfolded toward the sea, like it had been waiting just for me. Saltwater Avenue, warm and bright, palms leaning slightly into light. Nice beach, open and wide and clear, like a place I didn't know I'd need this year. Scooters weaving through the afternoon, voices drifting in a lazy tune. Citrus on ice, catching bits of sun. Everything slow, everything undone. I had plans, but I let them go. Watch them fade with the undertow. Now every step feels easy, new, like the day's choosing what I do. On Saltwater Avenue, I let it all unfold. Every second shining soft and gold. Paris feels the world away tonight, and I'm standing here feeling light. Nothing I need to figure out, no reason left to turn around. If it changes, I let it move. Saltwater Avenue, I'm passing through white linen drifting from an open room. Shadows sliding in a quiet bloom. Yachts just floating past the line of sight, barely moving, still they catch the light. We talk in pieces, then we let them fall. Laugh at things that don't mean much at all. Time is there, but it doesn't stay. It just brushes past and drifts away. Barefoot steps on the heated stone. Every sound feels like it's home. Even silence has a kind of sound. When we stop trying to hold it down, I don't need to make it last. I don't need to make it last. I don't need to hold it fast. If it slips, I let it be. That's enough for me. On Saltwater Avenue, everything is wide. Every moment opening inside. Paris somewhere out beyond the blue, and I'm right here seeing something new. Nothing left I need to prove, just the rhythm I can move into. If it fades, I let it go. Saltwater Avenue, moving slow. Back in Paris, I was chasing time, running through another line. Here the hours don't ask for more, they just open like an open door. I don't write it down to keep, I don't measure what I feel or see. If I leave without a trace, it still stays in this place. On Saltwater Avenue, day into night, everything turning soft and bright. Paris just a distant view, and I'm not going back too soon. Every breath feels like a start, every step a work of art. If it ends, I'll still know Saltwater Avenue. Let me go. Evening settles on the sea. Colors fade so easily. I don't chase what slips away. I just stay inside the day.
She left the city wrapped in quiet gray, Paris folding gently out of view. A window carried softer shades of day, like something waiting just beyond the blue. Nice beach, open wide and slow, stones holding warmth beneath her feet. She let the afternoon begin to flow, without a reason she could keep. Voices drifted through the promenade, distant laughter blending with the air. A glass of citrus caught the fading light and settled softly there. Nothing asking her to hurry, nothing pulling her away. Every second felt like resting inside the shape of day. She stays where the light moves easy, where the sky feels close and clear. Paris only a distant echo that slowly disappears. Every moment gently lending, like it's always meant to be. She doesn't try to hold it longer, she lets it set her free. Like fabric drifting near the open window, shadows tracing balcony lines. Yachts suspended somewhere far from care, as if they've loosened from time. She speaks in half-finished thoughts again, lets them drift before they land. A quiet laugh escapes without a plan. She doesn't try to understand. The color changes on the waterline, silver softening into green. She follows only with her eyes and stays within the scene. No need turning this to meaning, no need holding anything. If it fades, she lets it fade out, like a quiet song you sing. She stays where the light falls softer, where the hours open wide. Paris somewhere far behind her, with nothing left to hide. Every breath a little lighter, every thought a softer tone. She doesn't chase what's disappearing, she lets it move alone. Back in Paris, everything was moving, every hour asking more. Here the time is barely moving, like it's something to ignore. She doesn't write it down to keep it, doesn't frame it into lines. voice is fading into sound. She leaves the page without a sentence and lets the day slow down. White linen folded over the back of a chair, condensation mapping the slow ring on stone. A parasol tilts, correcting the angle of glare. Someone laughs just outside the frame. Blue shutters hesitate, neither close nor open. Strips of cobalt cutting quietly across the floor. Your fingers pause along the rim of the glass, then drift away before the shape can settle. Citrus on ice, the peel releasing slowly. Fragrance arriving ahead of intention. You mentioned the water looks different today. I watch it change before I answer. Scooters thread the curve beside the promenade, sound folding inward then thinning out. A waiter replaces something untouched, as if the table required revision. Yachts suspend themselves beyond detail, white signatures against a shifting field. You lean into a margin of shade where light redraws the line of your shoulder. Terrace by the blue, held in suspension, a frame that refuses conclusion. Nothing insists, nothing is named. Terrace by the blue, remaining the same. Warm stone keeps the echo of passing weight, even the steps we never intended. Balcony shadows arrange themselves slowly across faces already dissolving. Your sunglasses borrowed horizon, return it altered, almost green. We let sentences fall out of sequence as if endings would interrupt the view. Salt traces, quiet maps along your skin, drying into something close to lace. I follow one line then abandon it gently. Precision feels unnecessary here. A distant horn threads through the distance, pulling a seam across the horizon. Two glasses meet without emphasis, a gesture neither early nor late. Terrace by the blue, shifting in tone, edges softening into the unknown. No need to hold what moves through the frame. Terrace by the blue, without a claim. The door remains slightly undecided, curtains negotiating shape and air. Footsteps approach, then reconsider, leaving the corridor to itself. You say my name without insisting, it lingers somewhere between thought and sound. I let it rest where it almost becomes something that might have been held. The color offshore alters by degrees, blue giving way then quietly returning. The chair moves just enough to notice a small adjustment without reason. We trade the narrow line of shade without direction or agreement. Your hand pauses near my wrist, not touching yet, altering everything. Terrace by the blue, nearly gone. The shape of ours moving on, not lost, just thinned into view. Terrace by the blue, reduced to hue. White linen settles back into its fold. The glass clears itself of intention. Scooters fade into a lower register, and direction becomes unnecessary. The train rolls out of Paris in a line of silver light. Windows catching pieces of a softer sky. A notebook rests unopened on the seat beside, like nothing needs to be defined tonight. Nice beach unfolds in layers of blue, stones warming slowly under afternoon. He steps into the rhythm without a plan, and lets the hours open where he stands. Voices drift along the curved seaside road, a quiet pulse that rises, then it goes. A glass reflects the sunlight in his hand, and time dissolves without demand. Nothing left to calculate, nothing left to rearrange. Every second comes in waves and leaves before it changes shape. He moves where the light turns golden and white, where the day doesn't ask him to decide. Paris fades like a line in the distance view, and everything feels simple, everything feels new. Every breath finds a softer place to land. Every moment opens in his hands. He doesn't try to hold what's passing through. He lets it stay, then lets it move. Balcony shadows stretch across warm stone, patterns shifting but never alone. Yachts suspended far beyond the line, barely moving, still redefining time. He speaks in thoughts that don't need to conclude, lets them drift into a lighter mood. A quiet smile arrives without a cause, and stays a moment just because. The water shifts from silver into green, a living canvas in between. He watches every color gently blend, and lets the motion never end. No need turning it to proof, no need chasing after truth. If it fades before it stays, that's the beauty of the day. He moves where the light feels easy and clear, where the world grows lighter every minute here. Paris somewhere out beyond the air, and he's no longer reaching there. Every step falls into place with ease, every thought carried by the breeze. He doesn't chase what slips away in view. He lets it pass, he lets it through. Back in Paris, every hour held away, every moment pressing him to anticipate. Here the time unwinds without a sound, like it was never meant to be pinned down. He doesn't write it down to make it last, doesn't frame it in a future or a past. If it disappears before it's understood, it still leaves him feeling good. He stays where the light keeps changing its tone, where the day feels quietly his own. Paris waiting somewhere far behind, but it no longer fills his mind. Every second feels like open space, every moment finding its own place. He doesn't need to keep what fades from view. It wasn't enough just passing through. Evening settles into softer lines of blue, voices dim into